Can you please do me a favor and stop paying top dollar for unqualified leads? Let me show you what to do instead. If you want better quality leads that convert into higher paying clients, if that's what you want, let me show you. Hey guys, what's going on? Yuri Elkaim here, CEO and founder of Healthpreneur and author of the new book, Mind Floss. Grab it today on Amazon. It's an amazing read. Amazing. I'll put a link for that in the description, but let's talk about getting you some great quality leads into your health business. So I was talking with a client yesterday, doing some amazing stuff in his gym. And, they started working with us at the beginning of the year. And one of the reasons they wanted to work with us is because they were running Facebook ads, but they were getting a lot of people coming through. They were doing free challenges and a lot of tire kickers, unqualified leads. And they were getting it was a lot of volume that they had to just sift through. So they had to do a lot of sifting and sorting and dealing with a lot of people that were not qualified to work with them. And it just became very, very draining. So they wanted a better system to really appeal to the right people. And they're not the only ones, right? All of our clients that come to work with us in our Health Business Accelerator program, known as HBA, they come to us because they want more clients and they want to deliver more results to those clients or deliver results to those clients virtually without necessarily having to do the one-on-one, right? So time is a big thing here. And successful people understand that money is cheap and time is expensive. You can always make more money. You can't make more time. And so when you're dealing with unqualified leads, there's nothing more draining than that. So if you're in that position, then pay attention to what I'm about to share with you. I tell my clients this very, very often, and it's the following thing. You may want to write this down. If you want better people at the party, you need to send out a different invitation. It's that simple. So as an example, my brother, who's 3 years younger, when we were in our teenage years, my mom was away in Australia for 6 weeks, I think. And during that time, he decided to throw a big house party. Now, being the big brother, I probably should have shut it down, but I actually bribed him to pay me. So I wouldn't tell my mom, not my finest moments. Anyways, so he decides to throw this party and we ended up getting the cops coming to our house and just not good people. There was some not good people that ended up showing up. And this is an example of what can happen in your business when you don't specify the messaging on the front end, and the invitation, if you will, is not very, very clear. So if we want better quality leads in our business, if you want better quality leads in your business, your virtual business, your online business, your coaching business, whatever it is you're doing to generate leads, the number one thing, there's two things I'm going to share with you here. The number one thing that it's going to come down to is your messaging. Messaging over medium any single day of the week. Now, if you were on planet Earth a couple of days ago, as of this recording, Facebook was down for the day. Can you imagine? People must have been flipping out. Our whole business is based on Facebook. Not the whole thing, but a large portion of it. And I was telling my wife about this. I'm like, you know what? If Facebook never came back, I would be totally fine. There'd be an adjustment, but here's why. Because we focus on the psychology, not on the technology. And this is a very, very important thing for you to understand. Don't get caught up in the tech. Don't get caught up on how to build a nice looking page. None of that stuff matters. The most important thing is the message. It's the communication. It's what people are receiving that you are emitting. That's the most important part of your business. The tech is easy, right? The tech that's very simple once you understand or you can outsource the execution of it. But the messaging, you get that wrong, nothing else works. You can set up all the funnels you want. You can run a perfect client pipeline like I've taught you in many other videos. You can have the webinar, you can have all that stuff. But if the messaging sucks, it's not going to work. Does that mean this doesn't work? No, it works. Trust me, we've helped our clients generate north of $200 million now with the pipeline. But what's the difference? It's all about the messaging. And I just mentioned that this morning to one of our clients, Nadia. And I was like, what's your cost per lead? $41? All right, way, way too expensive. And she knows that. Turn the ad off. If you're paying too much for leads, your messaging is off. If you're getting the wrong people on the phone, your messaging is off. Okay, that's the most important. The number one place to start is your invitation to the party needs to be different. The actual, what are you writing on the invitation? Hey, celebration at my house this Friday night. This is only for you if X, Y, Z. Now, obviously you would not write an ad like that necessarily, but it needs to be embedded in there. Like people have to know what it is and who it's for, who it's not for, right? So messaging is massively important. The second piece is understanding that the more you get people to jump through hoops, the more committed they become to the process. Now, just because you're having people jump through hoops doesn't turn them into a more qualified lead. So let's just be clear about that, okay? The thing is, this whole conversation about qualified leads, unqualified leads, you don't make somebody qualified. Okay. Nothing you do in your marketing is going to make somebody qualified. The distinction is your marketing is going to get qualified people to raise their hand. That's the distinction. So nothing you do is going to change the nature of who that person is or how they are going to qualify themselves or unqualify themselves to working with you. They're out there already, right? They're dealing with the frustrations. They're dealing with their pain. They're looking for a solution. Some people more than others. Some people are willing to spend $5, right? Listen, let's look at an example here. So this book here, Mind Floss, you can get this on Amazon for 99 cents. Now, are you going to do it? Well, here's the reality. For all the people watching this video, the vast majority are probably not going to do it. Why is that? Number one, it requires you to do something like click a link, click a button, and 99 cents. I got to check my budget. Like, just order the friggin' book, okay? Now, if this book were $5,000, a little bit of a different consideration, right? So what's the difference there? Well, if I had the solution to the very problem you're dealing with in this book, okay? Let's just put mindset aside for a second. Whatever the solution, whatever the biggest pain point you're dealing with right now, if I had that solution to that in this book, and with 100% certainty, you could get it. You get the outcome. How much would you pay for the book? Probably quite a bit. Maybe, right? But not everyone's willing to do that, right? Everyone's talking about how they want the best, but they're not willing to pay for the best. They want this amazing result, but they're not willing to commit to the amazing result. Everyone wants to get fit. No one wants to work out, right? Everyone wants to lose weight. No one's willing to make a sacrifice. This is the human experience. So, you can't turn people into someone who doesn't want to work out into someone who wants to work out. They have to go through their own internal process to get there. Now, you can certainly nurture them and add value to them and inspire them. Eventually, they'll get there. So, the messaging is most important, as we talked about, because the messaging is going to get the qualified people, assuming the messaging is dialed in, to raise their hand and say, you know what? This makes sense to me. Let's have a look. The second piece is, as I talked about, getting people to jump through hoops. There's an amazing book, and I'm going to just, there it is. Here's another book, Persuasion. This is mandatory reading for people on our marketing team. Like if you don't have this book, if you haven't read this book, and if you haven't read this book, you're crazy, okay? You're crazy. Good crazy, but read the book, okay? Now, it's a thick book. Robert Cialdini wrote another amazing book called Influence. And let me give you the Coles notes. What people see before the offer dramatically increases the conversion of the offer. And there's a lot of examples in this book of how that works. Let me give you one quick little study, and I'm going to probably butcher it a little bit. They did a study, I think it was in France, I might be mistaken. And they had a woman who was an actor, and she had a purse. And what they had scenario number one do was they had four guys mock rob her, but it looked like a real robbery, rob her and run away with her purse. So they were just, down the street in the distance. So then for the passerbys, like the gentleman walking down the street, this woman would be like, oh my God, like these guys just took my purse. Could you help me out and go get it? And some guys were like, no, I'm not, there's no way I'm touching that. And other guys were like, yes, I will. I will help you. And it was a pretty dramatic difference in response. So there was a group of guys who said, no, thanks. And then there was another group of guys who said, let's do this. What was the difference? The difference is that in the group of men who had a higher percentage of like, yes, I'll help you, they had been walking down a street called Valentine Street. Valentine Street. What the heck does that have to do with this? Valentine Street chivalry, courage, all that stuff. And I don't even know if these men were conscious of that, but they were on that street and somehow it conjured up this sense of like, let me be chivalrous and help this lady out. Versus the other guys, the majority of them said no, they were not coming down that same street. So they'd come from another street that was more generic. So that's a really interesting example of how what people see before the offer dramatically increases the outcome of the offer. So going back to getting people to jump through hoops. So I'll just use the perfect client pipeline as an example. So the perfect client pipeline, I've created a number of other videos on our channel here about it. So you can go watch it. It's really simple. 4 steps. Facebook ad. Doesn't have to be a Facebook ad, but we use Facebook. It could be anything. It could be a YouTube ad. It could be an Instagram post. It could be an email, any kind of traffic source. It goes into a masterclass, right? We call it Teach to Sell. From that, or a webinar, whatever you want to call it. From there, we get people going to an application to book a time to speak with you on the phone, right? So Facebook ad, webinar, application, phone call. 4 steps. Why does it work so well? And why not just do a lead magnet? And listen, like I hope you understand that everything I share with you is 1000% tested in the trenches and just personally mastered. I don't talk theory. I've been online since 2006, okay? So when I'm about to share with you with lead magnets, please understand that if you go to my blog that I've sold, YuriElkaim.com, you will see an example of what I'm talking about. Is cheat sheets, PDFs, all sorts of stuff, right? We had dozens of lead magnets, all leading to different funnels. The thing with a lead magnet is that there's no commitments. It's a 1-page cheat sheet, so you have a higher conversion. I've also created other videos on this too. The conversion commitment conundrum. I want higher conversions. Really? Well, guess what's going to happen with higher conversions? Lower commitment. You typically don't have both. As an example, if you were to go to a web page and that web page asks you for your email address, let's just say in exchange for this book. If I just ask you for your email address in exchange for this book, would you give it to me? Some of you would say, sure, no big deal. However, what if I had another page for this same book and I asked you for your name, your last name, your email address, your phone number, your mailing address, your social security number, your marital status, etc. Do you see where I'm going with this? I'm asking for a greater commitment. Now, naturally, the conversion drops through the floor on that. Maybe not all the way to the floor, but pretty close. But here's the difference. Do you think that the type of person who fills in that form with all those details is a little bit more committed to what's in this book or their outcome than if they just provided an email? And the answer is usually yes. Now, I want to caveat this by saying that I'm not saying that every single person who would only give their email is not qualified, because there's definitely people in there who are qualified. But if you want to get rid of all the junk, it's probably not the right word. People are not junk. I'm just saying, if you'd rather spend more of your time with better quality leads, then get them to commit themselves. So when you have a perfect client pipeline, we don't have an ad that's 1 sentence. We have an ad that people leave comments on that's like, dude, your ad is too long. I'm like, see you later. That's exactly why it's too long, because I don't want to speak with you. If you're not going to read an ad that's going to take you 30 seconds because apparently you're so busy scrolling, thank you so much for confirming exactly why I'm doing this. So obstacle number 1, you're out of here. So other people are like, this makes sense. Let me click on this link and go to the next step, which is to register to watch a webinar. Well, I don't want to register. You're gone. You're out of here. See you later. I don't care. No big deal. Or the people are like, well, you know what, I'm gonna have to I don't know, is this gonna be long? I have to spend a lot of my time. I'm busy scrolling on Instagram and Facebook here. I'd rather just look at some nice asses, right? You're out of here. For other people that are serious about achieving the outcome that they're looking for in their business, they want more clients, they want more systemization, they want less one-on-one. They'll be like, okay, cool. Yeah, let me opt in, name an email. Let's have a look. And then the webinar starts. And then some people fall off because they're like, oh my God, it's been 5 minutes. Just tell me what it's all about, man. Get to the point. I'm sorry, did it take away time from your 3 hours of Netflix on a daily basis? Again, where energy goes, where attention goes, energy flows, results show. Whatever you're interested and committed to, you will spend the amount of time you need to. If you love watching Netflix, guess what? You'll find time to watch Netflix. If you are seriously committed to achieving a better business, you'll watch our webinar. I don't care about the people who don't. Do you think I'm going to look at the decay curve on a webinar viewer stats? And no matter if it's a webinar for 5 minutes or 5 hours, it's the same thing. It looks like this: high at the start and low at the bottom at the end. And that's exactly the point, because the purpose is not to serve everyone. The purpose is to filter out everyone so that only the select few remain. The select few remain. They've watched, let's say, a 45 or 60-minute webinar. Now they have to go to an application, answer some questions, book in a time out of their busy lives. They do that. Then they spend 45 minutes or so on the phone with us. That's a little bit more committed than click to download this PDF. Can you see why this increases the likelihood of dealing with more qualified people? It's not to say that you're not going to get tire kickers that sneak through, because they definitely do. And there's definitely people who are going to book a call and not show, and that's still going to happen. But we're talking probability here, is giving yourself a better chance of success, of dealing with more people who are qualified and serious and committed to their outcomes than everyone else who's just talking a big game and doing nothing about it. So going back to the client I was mentioning at the beginning, since working with us, they went from 23,000, I think, per month, or 26 or so. Now they're doing 53,000 a month with this process. They're doing that in about a third of the time. That's the big kicker, okay? So they're doing twice as much revenue in about a third of the time. So what is that, 6 times more efficient or something? Because they're dealing with less people, less prospects, fewer prospects, but they're better quality prospects. They're more committed because now they've gone through the steps. They're more bought in. They're more indoctrinated into how they do what they do. And now these potential clients are like, man, this makes a lot of sense. So that is how you stop paying top dollar for unqualified leads. The messaging has to be dialed in. And number 2, you should have a perfect client pipeline. Is it the only way to build a coaching business? No. Is it the fastest and smartest way? I think so. I mean, at least in our world, if you're a health expert, you're amazing at what you do, you don't want to spend all day posting dancing videos on Instagram, or like you actually want a life, it makes a lot of sense. So anyways, tons of other videos here on the channel. Watch them. There's lots of great stuff. Everything I share with you guys for free. If you want my high-level coaching and access to my world-class team of coaches to really hit the results to the next level, you can talk with us about what that looks like from a coaching perspective. But in the meantime, enjoy the free stuff here on YouTube. I create this stuff because I love teaching this and I love helping health professionals build great businesses. Most importantly, guys, grab this book, okay? Because the number one limiting factor in your life is up here. This is also the biggest accelerator, depending on what you feed yourself up here. If you floss your teeth, you got to floss your mind. It's not just about dental hygiene, it's about mental hygiene. And if you want to be more zen, if you want to be more focused, if you want to have a greater sense of confidence, appreciation, the sense that everything is always working out for you, if you want to get more of what you want in life, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in this book. 27 powerful lessons for a whopping 99 cents. So again, link is below, or you can go to mindflossbook.com and grab it there. So thanks again for your time today, guys. I hope you have an amazing day. If you've enjoyed this, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you soon.